When I start watching romcom animes, I pretty much have low expectations most of the time, and I have been proven wrong many times by shows like My Dress Up Darling, Komi-san, and many others. But Kaguya-sama did not just make me like it, it has me contemplating if it's the best romcom anime I've ever watched. The story is about two high school students, Miyuki Shirogane and Kaguya Shinomiya, who both have feelings for each other but are reluctant to confess their feelings due to their immense pride, and plot different schemes and trickeries to make the other one confess first. At first, knowing only the premise of the story and having watched the first couple episodes, it seemed like a fun episodic anime with an interesting concept but not much to offer other than that. But going further into the story, the comedy, the relatable character moments, the sudden tonal shifts, and it touching upon mature subject matters in an incredible fashion completely elevated the story for me. The comedic highs of the series for me were the mini stories like the one where Miyuki was struggling to play volleyball and was practicing secretly alone in the gym to get good at it, and Chika returns to the gym to get a thing she left and in the process catches Miyuki secretly training, sees him struggle, and tries to help. Miyuki, despite ashamed of being exposed as a person who's only good at academic activities and sucks to a miserable extent at other things, accepts Chika's offer to help, but little did Chika know what she was getting herself into. Miyuki is an unteachable human being. He can't even do the most basic moves but is determined to learn regardless, and Chika's descent into madness begins. And it was really hilarious watching this sequence of events unfold, and it even becomes a recurring theme and never fails to crack me up. There is also the dynamic with Kaguya and Ishigami, where Ishigami views Kaguya as this demonic sort of person and is scared to death to interact with her, but his failing grades incentivizes Kaguya to help him study in order not to ruin the student council's reputation. Also, that time Kaguya tells Ishigami that he'll attract the girl he likes if he starts getting good grades, and another torturous round of study sessions is forced upon him. Watching this duo's interaction and the way the author makes two people with completely different personality interact and creating this sort of gem is truly one of Kaguya-sama's strong points. Also, the moments Chika unknowingly thwarts Miyuki's and Kaguya's plan to make each other confess, and the dreadful expressions on their faces whenever Chika enters the student council room while Miyuki and Kaguya are on this 5D master plan to make each other confess, and it getting ruined by Chika being an inevitability. And moments like this elevate the comedic aspect of this show to a whole new other level. Kaguya-sama being a light-hearted rom-com, I'm always impressed when it shifts its gear and touches on mature subject matters without it feeling unnatural or out of place, such as the time we delve into Ishigami's backstory. Ishigami is a recluse, introverted kid who likes video games and has trouble making friends. With his personality trait, he's a great addition to the main cast of characters and adds an interesting dynamic with them and plays off of the other characters' different characteristics while creating hilarious moments, and I thought that was all we were going to get from Ishigami, but this story threw me off again and got us to glimpse through Ishigami's past. In Ishigami's backstory, we see him when he was in middle school. He was pretty much the same as he is in high school. He keeps to himself and doesn't interact with others much except with his one classmate, Kyoko Otomi, who was the only one who was friendly and talked to him, which resulted in Ishigami liking her and viewing her as a very special person to him. One day she gets a boyfriend and starts dating, and this comes to the knowledge of Ishigami. But Ishigami, who usually resents couples, was utterly happy for Otomi until he catches her boyfriend talking about trying to meet in a hotel with another girl. Ishigami couldn't handle sitting idly while Otomi's boyfriend was cheating on her. In his mind, he couldn't let a good person get hurt, so he confronts him and asks him to stop cheating, but the boyfriend was an even worse person than Ishigami thought, so he lashes out on him in front of all his classmates. False narrative gets created about Ishigami by the boyfriend, tarnishing Ishigami's reputation, which makes him stop attending school. Even Otomi develops a deep disliking towards Ishigami. Ishigami becomes a recluse who doesn't even leave his home. He's told to write an apology to the boyfriend, but Ishigami couldn't let himself do that even if the school counselor shouts at him to do so. He stops coming to school for months until one day Miyuki Shirogane of the Shuchin Academy, who has investigated his case, tells him he knows the truth and what he did was not in vain, and that Otomi is doing fine, which encourages Ishigami to start going back to school. This was the type of storytelling I wasn't expecting from Kaguya-sama, and it took me by surprise and made me look at the story through a whole new lens. Every main character is fully enough developed to justify their role in the story, which you can't say for many stories in this genre. And I'd like to touch upon how the story approaches and executes some of its themes, which can come out of nowhere but works regardless due to the nature of the story, such as the time one of Miyuki's classmates invited him to a karaoke club due to Miyuki looking stressed, and the classmate wanting for him to loosen up and have some fun, which worries Kaguya a lot and sends Hayasaka to make sure nothing happens while they're in the karaoke place. Miyuki notices Hayasaka and the atmosphere kinda gets awkward because Miyuki's last interaction with Hayasaka was when he dumped her. Miyuki asked her why she would be in a place like this, and Hayasaka rants about her little sister, i.e. Kaguya, who forced her to be here. Miyuki observes her and bursts out laughing, which makes Hayasaka ask why he laughed. He replies by saying that he feels like she's being herself and acting genuinely unlike their last encounter, which she doesn't agree with. Hayasaka is of the belief that no one will ever love you while being your true self and exposing your vulnerabilities, and dares him not to hide none of his vulnerabilities, to which he has no answers for. And these are the types of philosophical topics that this show touches upon that are relatable to most of us and makes you think, yeah, there is no problem with being vulnerable and opening up. That could make you more appealing as a person, but it could also backfire and hurt you in the process. One thing I'd be remiss if I didn't mention is the progression of Miyuki Shirogani's and Kaguya Shinomiya's character progression, especially when it comes to their relationship. The first couple episodes lets us know that these two characters like each other, but neither are willing to confess to the other, but instead take advantage of different situations and scenarios and sometimes scheme an elaborate plan ahead to make the other one confess first. This continues to be the case to the latest episodes, but as the story progresses, we get to see the reasons that made them fall for each other, like Miyuki's kindness helping people however he can, which deeply enamored Kaguya, and the flashback we got in season 3 of episode 9 where we see Kaguya save a person who was drowning and without a moment's hesitation while everyone was reluctant to do so, which was witnessed by Miyuki, who was astonished by her courage and made him admire Shinomiya. Also the multiple times Hayasaka tried to seduce Miyuki and Miyuki letting it be known that there's a person who he already likes, in moments like this that are sprinkled throughout the show, letting us know that it's not some shallow superficial love that these two have, is one that I really appreciate. If you haven't watched Kaguya-sama yet, make sure to check it out, it's a really good show. Also don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and see you guys later.